We're all looking at the same thing. Thank you for joining us for another perspective from the Sag Nasty If Anybody Asks Me podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos, please subscribe to the channel.
But I don't know. I always was a singer. I sang in church since I could remember.
So I was guessing and assuming you weren't born in Saginaw, and I figured you came in middle school. So my next question is, you're old enough to see the difference between Saginaw and Oklahoma, for example, like the kids, the school, the culture. What is that like, the difference between Oklahoma City and Saginaw? What changes did you notice? Maybe things that were hard, or did you just kind of fit in right away? I figured you have your homies back in when you're growing up from the neighborhood, from the school, but then all of a sudden, as you said, you felt like you never really had a click because you came so late. You know, a lot of, like, all my friends are from elementary school,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, that is pretty much how it felt, and or what I recall it feeling like.
Yeah.
But of course, children, young people are what do they call it? The word escapes me right now, but resilient. And so even going through difficulty transitions and things like that, we can kind of go with the flow for the most part. And that's kind of what I did. Differences in like the kids, like the school settings and things like that, were not very major. I think because I was just at the start of a different chapter, going into junior high, the opportunity for band, choir, and things like that. Those new things were available to me, when I came to Michigan as well. And so I got to know a lot of kids through like music class. I didn't end up doing band like I thought I would. I ended up going with voice, so
Did you play
choir.
an instrument?
Well, I grew up, I took piano lessons for years, so
Uh-huh.
I knew how to play piano. But when I went to junior high, in Oklahoma, I was really looking forward to the opportunity to play the trombone.
Ooh.
I like the
Okay.
trombone.
Yeah.
It was just so in sixth grade at my elementary school down in Oklahoma, they had different ones from the junior high come over to the elementary school and introduce us to different instruments and the opportunities that would be available when we went there for music. And we got a chance to like play an instrument. I didn't play an instrument. We got a chance to like test out an
Yeah,
instrument,
right.
basically.
Yeah.
Trumpet was not going to be my go-to because my lips are too big and you need a tiny aperture.
Really?
And trombone was like almost perfect for me.
The mouthpiece is different. Yeah, in that way.
It's a little bit different, but it also the breath support is different. The requirement of breath support is different. It's not necessarily easy, but it just seemed to naturally fit me. And I was like, yeah, I can see myself doing this.
Okay.
But I don't know. I always was a singer. I sang in church since I could remember. And so back there in Oklahoma, and then as we transitioned to Michigan, even before we were really in church, before my mama got saved and made us go to church every Sunday, I was the little toddler child that was always singing and dancing in front of the family.
That's awesome.
So,
Me too.
nuh-uh, really?
Yeah, our whole family though. Our whole family was just singing all the time.
What?
Yeah.
Daryl.
Yeah, I used to sing in a band. I used to sing in a rock band starting in 7th grade, but I never sang choir. My brother sang choir though.
Okay. I vaguely am remembering you being
You
involved
wouldn't
in a
know
rock
too
band.
much. Yeah, you wouldn't know too much because all the guys are from Arthur Hill. That's why. Yeah.
What?
So you would have to go to like a show to like see us play. We played a lot of shows, but we only played at Heritage once. and I don't think it was kind of your environment. I don't think you would have went there, so it was kind of rough that night. But it was
Oh my
fun. It was
gosh.
fun. Yeah, we went to a
I
lot
can
of like,
imagine.
yeah, like really like I saw some crazy things when I was traveling with the band, especially out in Hemlock. Saw like
What?
witches and motorcycle gangs and ska. Do you know what ska is? It's a genre of music. It's kind of
No,
like
what is
punk.
it?
It's like punk,
Mm-hmm.
but it might be nice for you because like it has a lot of horns. So like
Mm-hmm.
when you play guitar, you usually strum down, but with ska, it's up, dun, 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 like this kind of dun, 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 oi, oi, oi.
What?
So that wasn't our kind of music, but that was really popular at the time. So a lot of those people did mosh pits, and they had a lot of like it was very
Yes.
dancey music, a lot of horns, and like I wasn't a ska fan, so I can't really I don't know what bands there are. It was very popular in our year, not really for like me as a black guy. I wasn't
Ska.
really interested in that. Yeah, ska
I'm
punk.
gonna look it up for sure.
Yeah, so like you've heard it around because it was during our generation. It's like we had grunge like around 93, so that's like Nirvana.
Okay.
But after that, the music changed to be a little happier, and that was when ska came in. But anyway, so there's a
Mm,
lot of ska bands out there in Hemlock, and it was really cool experience. I'm glad I did it, but ours was more like bluesy, jazzy. Ours was completely different than what everyone else was doing, but they didn't like shun
got it.
us. We got in trouble at
Got
the
it.
Arthur Hill talent show. We won it, and they were mad because like there was a lot of dancers and like all the guys in my band were white, so they thought like there was some kind of racism, so they like ran us out of there. But
Oh
besides that,
my gosh.
so going back to like that was actually my next question is about music. Is that's always been connected with you? So I was like, let me make sure I asked the question right because I was really curious about this. Um, yeah, you were raised in a church. When you came to Saginaw, what church did you go to a church in Saginaw? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
where did you go? Okay.
So my dad, being that he was being transferred through his job back to
Mm-hmm.
Michigan,
Mm-hmm.
he had an opportunity to come. Well, he kind of had to come to Saginaw before our family moved,
Oh, okay.
and he had the opportunity to. That's when he was looking for housing and things like that. But then also he was able to check out churches,
Okay.
and so we ended up at Coleman Temple Church of
Mm-hmm.
God in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been considered or is considered the north side of town,
Mm-hmm.
maybe
Mm-hmm.
on Wadsworth
Yeah, Wadsworth,
and
yeah.
Wadsworth Avenue. And so yeah, that's the church. And
That's where you stayed at all through like high school and everything
mm-hmm,
too. And so you
mm-hmm.
sang in the choir there?
Yes. Yep.
Wow,
I
that's
was in
awesome.
the whatever youth choir and other things they had for youth. I was involved in or tried to.
That's awesome. Okay, that's what I was wondering. So I went to a really small church called St. Luke's in Buena Vista, but later we transferred. Oh, not we. My father recommended I started going to church alone by the time I could drive, basically.
Uh-huh.
Actually, before I could drive, but I don't remember. My brother, I was just talking to my brother about it. I don't remember him taking me to church. So I think that like there was a little moment between when my dad left Saginaw right around when I was 12
Mm-hmm.
to basically like 16 or 17 where my brother took me to church sometimes, but anyways, by high school I started going to Ebenezer in Buena Vista, a much bigger church out there. So Pastor
Okay.
Pryor is kind of a big one. But yeah, I know Coleman too. So yeah, what was like the church experience like for you in Saginaw? Because for me, that is part of the Saginaw experience is church. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
both sides of town too. To be honest, as I got older, I saw how much church played even in the township too. So yeah, what was it
Yeah.
like growing up in the church in Saginaw, going to Saginaw Church?
It was crazy because that's how I got to know a lot of people, like throughout the
Mm,
whole city.
yeah, that's true.
So, like you said, it played
Mm-hmm.
a major part in a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people's lives
Mm-hmm.
who lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, like for somebody like you and some others, sports, let's say my husband, who's from Saginaw, born and raised, he went to Saginaw High.
Yeah.
He played sports, so he knows of you. He definitely knows Stu. You know, he followed sports
He's
of
in our
all of the
grade?
schools. Yep, he graduated our year.
Awesome. Yeah, okay.
And so he knew who a lot of people were because of sports. And I knew, no, I did not hang around with, or just I wasn't involved in circles of people, but I knew a lot of people, and a lot of people knew who I was, and a lot of it had to do with my church going.